switching boots. Notice I'm getting all basically the crumbs or the extra polish off as I go. Not letting them just stay on there. Similar to what you would do with a horsehair brush. Just not a fan of those because it typically will scuff up your boot. Or just simply remove the polish that you just put on. Either way, counterproductive. Very heavy coat of wax. You can use either Kiwi regular polish or Parade Gloss. Parade Gloss would be my preference. And now what I'm going to do is make it so the entire boot is shined. You don't want to make sure you're careful, you're not staying in one area. Once it goes shiny, that's when you want to move on to another area. If you notice it's changing from that dull color to shine, it will instantly go back to dull as I move on. That's fine. However, the shine that you see right here is actually what it's going to look like when I get done. The reason you put a very heavy coat of wax on is so that you do not actually burn the leather itself. That also would be bad. And I did switch back to my other boot prior to starting this. So this is the first boot I put the polish on. Alright, that one's done for now. Switching to the other boot. Notice I'm using a stick lighter. The reason I do that is because if I use a regular lighter to use for cigarettes, I'd burn the hell out of my thumb. I'm just going to add that to the reasons I don't smoke. Alright, I'm going to leave the camera pointed at my wonderful boots while I go fill up my cup with water. I'll be right back. Alright, going back to the first boot I started with, using pantyhose, grab an area that looks decently clean, and you want to get it fairly wet. So the point is basically dripping. And then you want to kind of get rid of the excess water. Pull it up so it's taut. Holding the boot between your legs. Go to a slightly drier area of the cloth. And then a dry area of the cloth. This is where you're going to get a decent arm workout in. Notice I go back almost all the way to the laces. I'd see people that do just the toe. Don't really understand that. Just think that's pure laziness. Because you can see it. Your pants don't cover that part up. And you may get yelled at about it later on. Considering usually this is used for measuring a person's attention to detail. One could say that if you're only doing the tip, you're not giving it completely your full attention to detail. Alright, so the tip looks pretty good. I'm going to get my hand wet again. Go to the side. Completely different technique for what the side is what I use. And I kind of widen my pantyhose up and use pressure to get the side fairly decent. Still won't look as great as the toe. I haven't really found a way to make it as great as the toe, just because I can't get that same angle with the boot. And then, because I'm a little bit OCD type A, I like to go back over my toe one more time. That is boot 1. Boot 2 is the same process. I do encourage you switching between which boot you start with each time you do the shoes. Because what that one was doing is basically letting the polish soak in to the leather as I was finishing buffing up this one, the other one. Notice same process. Get it decently wet, dab off the extra, and then go and polish the boot. The boot becomes fairly wet. Switch to a slightly drier part of it as kind of like a half and half. And then switch to the dry area. Notice I'm not doing this, I'm kind of doing the whole shifting maneuver with it. And it's a very light touch, just really fast movement. And same thing, going to the side. Wadding them up again. And I do realize I was a little bit hypocritical when I said that you should polish the entire thing, and I'm not really putting as much attention to detail on the sides. But that's because I haven't figured out a way to make the sides as well as the toe. I tried multiple angles and either the boot falls or it just doesn't get much better. It's still fairly decent. Just not anywhere near as good as the toe. Still, make sure you go all the way back to the laces with it because, like you saw earlier, you can see with your pants on that area of the boot. And anyone that looks at your boots can see, especially if you do a good shine job, that you stopped at the toe. If anything, it shows laziness. And boot number 2.